Have you ever wanted something so badly in your life, and no matter how hard you try to get it, it's just not coming to you? And you're really frustrated, and you think, I have tried everything. The key to understanding how to get what you want in your life is understanding your story. Now, what do I mean by your story? Our stories begin as children. We learn things, and over the course of the years, we just keep expounding on it. For instance, let's say that you've decided to be a vegetarian, but your whole life, growing up, dinner was always meat, potatoes, vegetables. Now, your friends, your family, they don't understand. Like, what do you mean you want to be a vegetarian? Don't you understand that to have a balanced meal, you have to have meat, you have to have potatoes, you have to have vegetables? Our stories begin when we're children. We are raised in a specific environment with specific beliefs. Those beliefs become our story. If you are raised in a Christian household, maybe your belief is that you attend church every Sunday. If you are raised in a Jewish household, maybe your belief is that you attend church every Saturday. Perhaps you were raised in a way that you believe dinner consists of meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. These become our stories. Now, that seems harmless enough when it comes to your religion or what you eat for dinner, but what about something even bigger in your life? What is it that you truly, truly want? Perhaps it's a career that you'd like to go after. Perhaps you'd like to make more money. Perhaps you'd like to create different traditions at the holidays. Think about traditions at holidays. People have so many challenges over the holidays. Families grow up and they do things a certain way, then the children grow up and they want to do it a different way, and the parents say, well, what do you mean you don't want to do it this way? This is the way we've always done it. And rather than try to let them see your point, you just go along with it and you're miserable. That's just about the holidays. What about when it's something that you truly, truly want in your life? Maybe you've always wanted to be a painter, but your parents always wanted you to be a lawyer. And then you try to tell them, but I want to paint. I really, really want to do this. And they say, well, that's okay for a hobby, but what you really want to do is go get a good education and you can paint on the side. So you do what makes them happy. Are you beginning to see how stories are created in our minds? How we believe something is absolute truth? Perhaps you're trying to get healthier. Maybe you'd like to lose some weight, and you've tried everything. But your belief is that you have to go on a diet. And someone is trying to help you understand that if you eat healthier, the weight will come off. But your mind just can't conceive of that because all your life you have this diet mentality. We have so many beliefs, so many limiting beliefs, so many stories in our mind, in our subconscious mind, deep, deep down in our subconscious mind. And this is what we draw on day in and day out, 24/7, for the choices that we make today. So is it any wonder when you are trying to make changes today, or something that you truly, truly want, and you're not getting it, and you can't figure out why? It's understanding your story. Your story can become a limiting belief. And when you try to really, really get what you want in your life, and it's not happening, what do you usually do? You talk to your parents, you talk to your friends. Usually those people believe the same way that you do. They have the same stories, the same limiting beliefs, or a variation thereof. So you talk to them and they share with you their ideas, their opinions, but really their opinions mirror your opinions. So you never get anywhere and you just keep being frustrated. And then you think, well, maybe I'll go ask someone else, someone with a different opinion. And then your friends and family say, well, why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you ask me? Now you've got to deal with what you wanted to deal with and try to placate them. You see, it's simply about changing your story. Asking someone else, other than a friend or a family member, something that's really on your mind has nothing to do with not asking a friend or family. But it's ingrained in us. It's deep down in our subconscious. It's part of our story that we want to make our friends happy. We want to make our parents happy. We want to keep the peace. Maybe you've been in a marriage for many, many years, and all of a sudden you decide, you know what, my children are older, I'd like to go out and try this. But your friends, your family, your parents, they're saying, what do you mean? Aren't you happy? You have a great life. Why don't you just be happy? Why can't you just be happy with what you have? Well, because deep down there's something inside of you that wants to explore something else. And that's okay. Give yourself permission to explore what you want to explore. But then you come to the point where you try to go after what you really want, and you just can't seem to get it, and you're so frustrated. Well, see, this is about your story. Do you really want what you think you want? Or is your limiting belief, your story, that story you grew up with, that's deep down in your subconscious, is it keeping you back from what you really want? Because when you start going after something you really want, you have to move out of your comfort zone. You have to move out of a thinking, a thought process that you've always done. And once you move out of that thought process, fear sets in. And fear comes in all shapes and sizes. From literally shaking in your boots to maybe just being afraid to voice it to someone. You're afraid what they're going to think of you, what they're going to say. They're not going to agree with you. They're going to think you're crazy. Fear comes in all shapes, sizes, forms. But here's the thing. When you're feeling that fear, that tells you that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. That tells you that you are moving in the right direction. Now, the trick is understanding if that fear is trying to keep you safe or if that fear is simply falling back into your old story. Because what do most of us do? We start to feel that fear, or maybe someone tells us you shouldn't be doing that, and we get upset and we're frustrated. And, we just can't figure it out, so what do we decide to do? We go shopping, we do a little retail therapy, we take our mind off of it. Now we're feeling a little better. We've got that little something that we just purchased, and where I am isn't so bad. I'm just going to settle into that. But sooner or later, that drive, that want, that desire is going to come back. And then you're going to say, oh, yeah, there it is again. I want that, but I keep trying and I don't get it. Well, what you really keep doing is pushing yourself until you feel the fear, or you feel so uncomfortable that you slide back into where you're comfortable. So that's the difference between understanding your subconscious and the story that is embedded in your subconscious and your higher self that's asking you to go after that big thing that you want. Understanding that the way to get this, whatever it is that you want, is to push past the fear and keep going. Now you're on the right track. We're so afraid of stepping out of our comfort zone that it keeps us right where we are. So what do you want in your life? What do you really want? Now, here's the question. Why don't you have it? Now, when you answer that question, right there, that's your story. That is what's holding you back. It would be very helpful if you write that down. I'm going to ask you, what do you really want? Now I'm going to ask you, why don't you have it? Whatever your story is, that's an excuse. An excuse is the same thing as being in victim mode. We love being in victim mode because victim mode allows us to stay comfortable. It allows us not to have to work too hard. If you think everything I just said cannot possibly be true, I'm going to ask you a question. Question number 1. How badly do you want what it is that you say you really want? If your answer is really bad, I really, really want it. Here's the second question. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen? Are you willing to start thinking outside of your story? Are you willing to start changing your story? Because if your story, what you believe to be true, is really working for you, you would have what you really want. Right now, you would have it. So if you're willing to just give it a try, to think outside of the box, to think outside of your comfort zone, to stretch yourself just a little bit farther than you've ever stretched yourself before, if you're ready to take that next step, to think outside of the box, to change your story, connect with me. Give me a call and we'll have a complimentary conversation for 30 minutes to help you understand what's been holding you back and how to make that next step to get you where you want to be. Now, if making a phone call is too far out of your comfort zone, maybe you could take a little step. Maybe you could start with simply subscribing to this channel, because there's going to be more videos like this coming along, more information sharing with you how to step outside of your story, how to step outside of your comfort zone, how to change your story, how to keep moving forward. This is Nancy Mueller, encouraging you to change your story and change your life. Ciao for now.